Have you seen yourself well? Many of you see yourself sick. You talk sick. You plan sick. Many of you pray for prosperity, but you see yourself poor. You talk poor. You think poor. You buy the cheapest anything. And the thing wears out twice as fast as something else. You'd have actually saved money if you'd have bought something of higher quality, but you're just cheap. You serve El Cheapo instead of El Shaddai. And you know what? You're praying for prosperity, but you're shooting yourself in the foot. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your life is, some of you aren't going to like this, but your life is the way you see it being. And some of you, oh, that's not so. I'm praying for prosperity. I'm praying for healing. I'm praying. You may be praying for it. You may desire it. You may want it. But your life is the way you see it being. As you think in your heart, so are you. If your life is a mess, I'm not saying that you wanted that. I'm not saying that you prayed for it, but life has come against you. Satan has attacked you. We live in a fallen world, and there's just bad things that happen, and you have let circumstances and things dictate to you, and you have accepted less than God's best. God's never made a single one of you for failure, ever. There is no such thing. Every one of you are designed by God for something awesome. Not everyone is going to be doing what, those of us that are in ministry are doing, but every one of you, it's awesome. God has a tremendous plan. But most people let circumstances control them. And they're like a pinball that you just pull back the lever and launch that thing, and then it just bounces off. It depends. You try this, and if that doesn't work, you go over here, and it just, whatever will be, will be. You just are like water. You seek the lowest level. I'm not saying these things to hurt anybody. I'm saying it to open up our eyes that what we are calling normal is abnormal in God's sight. God made you for something awesome. Your life ought to be absolutely awesome. You do not have to be a preacher. You do not have to be somebody that the world calls important. Every one of you have gifts and talents that if you were to reach your full potential, it would amaze you and everybody around you. And yet the average person lives in such a way that if you were to die, nobody would miss you. I'm not saying that to hurt anybody, but I mean, when you die, somebody ought to miss you. Your life should have made a difference. It ought to be that, man, who's going to take this person's place? If you aren't living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. God made you to do something significant. So anyway, all of this, the things that I'm sharing with you, God showed me that I wasn't pushing ahead and fulfilling his thing, and I had to start seeing what I knew God's will for my life was. I had to start seeing it come to pass. And just as is happening here with this church, as your vision increases, well, then that means that everything else, the facilities that it takes to accommodate that increases. Our Bible school was growing, and at the time the Lord spoke all this to me, we were in a place that could only handle 100 people. And I knew that we were going to need much more space. And so anyway, long story, but I went from 14,000 square feet to 110,000 square feet, which everybody around me thought, you're absolutely crazy. This is nearly 10 times what you've got. Did you know now we have over 770,000 square feet, and I've got another 1,000,000 square feet that I'm in the process of building. That's how much we've increased. But when we moved into this 110,000 square feet, we bought a building for $3.2 million. I took out a loan on that, and then I was waiting. I had to have another $3.2 million to renovate it, and I tried for 9 months to get a loan, and this was during that same period of time. And right at the time that the Lord told me I was limiting him, the banker came back, and after 9 months, he says, we need a new appraisal. Let's just start the whole thing over again. And I thought, man, all I could see was another 9 months of him saying next week. And so I said, no, I'm going to pray about this. And anyway, long story, but the Lord told me to do it debt-free. Now, we had already taken out a loan for the first $3.2 million, but this $3.2 million, at the rate we were receiving money at that time, I sat down and figured it out. I'd have been over 120 years old by the time I got $3.2 million. That's how little we were having our cash flow come in, and I just knew that wasn't going to work. But anyway, the Lord told me to do that, so I committed to it, and I said, I don't care if they come to me tomorrow and tell me that I'm approved for the loan. I'm not going to take it. God is going to do it debt-free. Now, see, I saw it, and this was stretching myself. And these things that I'm talking about what's happened to me, but this same thing applies to this whole church group, not only in this location, but in every location. God is stretching you so that you can accommodate more, lengthening your cords, strengthening your stakes, so that you can accommodate more people and make a greater impact. And so anyway, I told him, I said, I won't take it. And the next day, Wells Fargo came back and said, you don't need 3.2. We've approved you for $4 million. And you know what? I turned them down. I said, you're a day late. And I turned them down. And did you know, in 14 months, we got that $3.2 million moved into that facility debt-free. But when I made that decision, it didn't just happen instantly. And you know what I did? I had my builder. We had this huge 110,000 square foot warehouse, and we had gutted it, and we had actually dug the trenches for the plumbing and things like that. So we had holes dug in the concrete where the plumbing would go, and dirt piled up and stuff like this. And I had my builder go in there and put duct tape on the floor of where every wall was. We had already designed the plans, and I had them put down where every wall was, where every door was, and everything. And I would spend anywhere from 1 to 3, 4 hours a day at night after all of the staff was gone. And I would just walk through that building, praying in tongues and asking God to help me to see this, quickening my imagination. And did you know I never stepped over the duct tape? I would walk down the hall, and I had them put, the duct tape at an angle where a door was, and I would act like I was opening the door. And I'd walk in, and I'd look at this office and see, is this the way I want it to be? I know some of you think I'm weird, but I think you're weird. Not to use your imagination. God gave it to us. I was conceiving something. And I walked into every room. I put buckets, 5-gallon buckets on the floor with plywood across them. And I stood on that and acted like there was people in there. And I preached entire messages to people. And I saw that place filled. And again, some people think that's strange. This is just using your imagination. And I guarantee you, I got spiritually pregnant. And I knew I had it. When a woman first gets pregnant, she doesn't even know she's pregnant. It takes a while for her to recognize it. But then she knows she's pregnant when nobody else can tell. But then after a while, everybody can tell she's pregnant. And did you know there was a time that I was pregnant with this vision and nobody else could see it. Everybody thought, you are absolutely crazy to turn down the money that you need to do this, and you just shot yourself in the foot. Nothing's going to work. But I knew I had it. And then people could see after a while, they began to start being encouraged by me. They believed because I believed. And then eventually it came to pass. Everybody could see it. And then we gave birth. And did you know when we had that building completed and we had the dedication service, I'm not a real emotional person as far as inside. I have all kinds of emotion. I just don't show a tremendous amount of emotion. Dwayne Sheriff is me with personality. He said that the other night. So anyway, I just don't show a lot of emotion. And we were having the dedication service.